O'Bannon.
Come in.
Well, I hate to disturb your nap, but...
Never mind, have a chair.
The captain happens to be waiting for you in the wardroom.
Don't tell me we've sighted a blockade runner.
The Constitution's coming alongside. They just signaled they're putting a general aboard.
What in thunder do we need with a general?
The War Department didn't see fit to confide in me.
I'll take it up with her when I get back.
In the meantime, I suggest you get to the wardroom before the general arrives.
I never missed a formation yet, Mr. Tripp.
And the captain will be pleased to hear that.
Oh, by the way, the next time my sergeant gets in a fight, I suggest you report him to me for disciplinary action.
We tried that. You know, somehow, depriving a man of shore leave when you're sailing up and down the Mediterranean for 6 months doesn't impress me as adequate punishment.
Well, what's a couple of black eyes between shipmates, hmm?
This is a United States man of war, Mr. O'Bannon, not a privateer.
Oh, my boots, please, Mr. Tripp. Thank you. The Navy. Fall in! Fall in! Up and down! Fire me now! Dress it up! Dress it up!
Glad to have you aboard, General.
Thank you, Captain. The Secretary of the Navy wished me to extend his warmest personal regards.
I'm honored, sir. The officers are assembled in the wardroom. May I present the officers of the Essex, General Eaton.
At ease, gentlemen. President Jefferson has sent me here to recruit volunteers for a special mission. I'll need 2 officers and 8 enlisted men. If the mission works, it might shorten the war. If it doesn't, only 10 men will be lost. That's all I can tell you now.
Volunteers, 1 pace. Forward.
Thank you, gentlemen. I see, Captain Adams, you and I will have to choose from the whole roster.
Sir, may I ask if the mission involves land action?
Yes, it does.
As commanding officer of the Marine Detachment, may I remind the General that such action falls in the province of the Marines?
I'm familiar with the regulations, Lieutenant.
That will be all, gentlemen. We'll give you our decision in an hour. Lieutenant O'Bannon, sir.
I see by your record that you were commissioned from the ranks.
Yes, sir.
I've taken your advice, Mr. O'Bannon. You'll be one of the officers.
Thank you, sir.
You may feel differently before it's over.
Lieutenant Tripp, sir.
I know your father, Lieutenant. Being Senator Tripp's son, his recommendation are not for me.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Tripp will pick a surgeon's mate to go along. Mr. O'Bannon, 7 enlisted Marines.
Any 7, sir?
Of course. Gentlemen, here's what we hope to do. Here we are off Tripoli. They can't come out, but we can't go in after them. And here's Derna. We know Tripoli's too strong to attack, but in our hands, Derna would give us control of the whole coastline. We intend to capture Derna.
With 10 men?
And as many natives as we can recruit. We can't take it by land alone or by sea alone, so we're going to try both at once. A combined land and sea attack. It's never been done before. You'll be writing the book as you go along.
Where do we get the native army, sir?
I'll come to that. When I served in Tripoli as the president's envoy, the Pasha was a man named Hamid Karamanli. He was friendly to the United States, but he was overthrown by his brother Yusuf. We're going to find Hamid and build an army around him. The last I heard, he was in exile in Egypt, camped somewhere about 100 miles up the Nile, near the oasis of Minya, well out of reach of his brother's army. Well, there it is, gentlemen. Have your men form up. Let's make this look good.
Aye, aye, sir. Remember, you represent the United States. They'll judge our country by the way you act. You got that, Sergeant Derrick?
Yes, sir.
Their customs are different from ours. We're their guests. It's important we get along with them. Anything you don't like, keep quiet about it.
Got that, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
All right, now dress it up. Look like Marines. Sergeant Derrick will be watching you at all times. And I'll be watching the sergeant. Ready, sir.
General Eaton, what happy fortune brings you here?
It's good to see Your Excellency again. I trust His Highness is in good health.
He bears his misfortunes bravely.
May I present Lieutenant O'Bannon and Lieutenant Tripp?
Gentlemen.
His Highness Minister of State. We would appreciate an audience with His Highness as soon as possible.
I'm afraid he cannot be disturbed at the moment. But of course I shall arrange for you to dine with him tonight. Until then, we will make you as comfortable as our poor accommodations allow.
Check, Your Highness.
I suppose I should be getting used to that.
Perhaps if you change your style of play.
Or if you did.
Why should I? I'm winning.
That borders on disrespect.
Your move.
Let's stop this juvenile fencing.
You concede the game.
Come here.
Will there be anything else, Your Highness?
Yes. I'd like to wring that beautiful little neck of yours. Just to see if any blood runs out.
Go ahead.
You wouldn't feel it if I did. It would be like breaking an icicle.
You don't really believe that. You might catch cold.
I don't know why I put up with such insolence.
Perhaps because you like me.
Perhaps. On the other hand, it may be just the novelty of your irritatingly prudish attitude that intrigues me.
I'd better leave before you decide.
You will dine with me tonight, of course, as usual.
I shall be honored, as usual.
Oh, incidentally, my dear, if it is your aim to protect your reputation, it's quite futile. No one believes that our relationship is on such a lofty plane. Since your father died and you're all alone here, everyone naturally assumes that...
Everyone but us.
Maybe it's time you gave him a little more encouragement. Men like to be encouraged ever so often.
He doesn't need any.
Still, it might be wise. Not too much, you know. Just enough to keep him from looking at anyone else.
And just where is he going to find anyone else here?
Some men have the talent. I remember one back in France once. You could drop him in the middle of the ocean and he would come up with his arms around a mermaid.
Well, there aren't any mermaids in the desert.
Still, he hasn't mentioned marriage.
Mentioned everything else. It's just a matter of time until he gets around to that. And I have a feeling that it just may be tonight.
I believe it when I hear it.
Oh, stop complaining. I'm doing the best I can.
Who's he to be so choosy anyway? A king without a kingdom.
What a fortune in gold and jewels. That's even better.
A dozen fortunes couldn't make this place comfortable.
Don't be silly. I've no intentions of staying here once we're married.
Just where do you expect to go?
Oh, Spain, Portugal, England. There are lots of places in which to spend a comfortable exile. Perhaps I can even talk him into taking us back to France.
Oh, that would be so nice to see home again. And who knows? You might even fall in love with him.
One thing at a time.
I like the way His Highness roughs it. It's too bad we didn't know him when he was living well.
I'd enjoy it more if I knew how much we could trust him.
If you knew that, you probably wouldn't enjoy it at all.
With Your Highness along to inspire his men, it cannot fail.
True. But your blockade will accomplish the same purpose in time. Why go to all this bother?
Unfortunately, time is running out. There's a growing clamor at home to end the war, one way or another. I need not remind Your Highness of the consequences to you if we were forced to make peace with your brother.
As I said, it is a most excellent plan. I shall be delighted to cooperate. This agreement was prepared by the Secretary of State at the direction of President Jefferson.
I trust you'll find it satisfactory.
May I read it before signing?
By all means.
You know, the only thing wrong about this whole thing is nobody will believe me when I tell them about it back home. They'll think I was... Maybe I am.
Your Highness.
You needn't be so formal in front of an old friend. You remember General Eaton?
Of course. How nice to see you again.
My pleasure, Countess. May I present Lieutenant Tripp and Lieutenant O'Bannon, the Countess Darno.
Lieutenant Tripp.
Your servant, Mademoiselle the Comtesse.
Lieutenant O'Bannon.
You're a servant, ma'am.
It says here that the United States is to be in command of the expedition.
In military command. Naturally, Your Highness will retain full political authority over the subject you take along.
Take along where?
To Derna. It seems I am about to become a warrior.
You mean you'll be leaving here?
Yes.
As soon as possible. I'll go back tomorrow to make the necessary arrangements with the Navy. Lieutenant O'Bannon, as senior officer, will be in command.
Of the military.
To victory.
To victory.
Here they come.
How'd it go, Lieutenant? It's all set. We open for business tomorrow morning. You men taken care of all right?
Like we owned the place.
I'll sell it back cheap. Secure for the night.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Carlos. Countess, could I see you to your quarters?
Thank you, but it's not far.
Oh, you can't tell what could happen to a beautiful girl out alone on a night like this.
When I was 12, I escaped the guillotine by hiding in the hold of a fishing vessel. And 6 months ago, I had a horse shot out from under me by Tripolitan guards. So I think I can get back to my tent safely.
Well, then maybe you better look out for me.
I should be impressed to look out for the head of the armed forces. It's quite a compliment for a lieutenant to be left in charge of an army.
Wait till we see the army.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do very nicely. Only,
Only what?
won't it be rather awkward for His Highness to have to take orders from a lieutenant?
We'll get along.
Wouldn't it be easier if he stayed here until it was all over?
That's not up to me.
It will be after tomorrow.
I couldn't very well change the general's plans just after you left, even if I wanted to.
Don't tell me you're afraid to trust your own judgment.
Has nothing to do with judgment. If he wants these thrown back, there's no reason he shouldn't go along to get it.
But that's not the point. If something were to happen to His Highness, well, it would make the whole expedition rather meaningless, wouldn't it?
Are you sure you're worrying about the expedition?
Good night, Lieutenant. Wake up. Oh.
Well, did he?
Oh, keep quiet.
He didn't.
Not only that, he's going away. A military expedition to capture Derna.
But why?
Because the Americans want him to. They say it will help win their war.
I knew something had happened. I told
Oh,
you.
keep quiet. I'm trying to think.
Can't you stop him?
Oh, I already tried to, but their pig-headed lieutenant just laughed at me.
You better think of something, or we'll both be old maids.
I'll think of something. They're not going to spoil my plans now.
Well, Mr. O'Bannon, where'd you disappear to?
I took the Countess home, sir. By the way, where does she fit in around here?
I was wondering when you'd get around to it, too. Her father, Count Darno, was Hamet's finance minister when I first met them in Tripoli. They'd been chased out of France by the revolution. After Hamet was overthrown, they had to flee again, so they followed him here. After her father died, she assumed the title of Countess, and very little else. How can we get down to business, Mr. O'Bannon?
I won't have time to go over this in the morning, so let's be sure we've got it straight. Here's your course. It's laid out so you can avoid the regular caravan routes. Roughly, it's 600 miles from here to Derna.
At an average of 20 miles a day, you ought to be there in 30 days. I'll be waiting for you here, in this bay below Derna.
With as many ships as the Navy can give me. We'll effect a rendezvous there and set the final plans for the attack on Derna.
What about supplies?
What Hamet won't furnish, you buy here. And the same goes for men. We need all we can hire. There's $20,000 in here. It took a lot of talking to squeeze it out of Congress.
20,000. Millions for defense, but not 1 cent for tribute. How did your father vote, Mr. Tripp?
No matter how the senator voted, if anything happens to this money, you'll be the oldest lieutenant in the service before it's paid off.
Yes, sir.
Khawaja, he wants all the money now.
I'll bet he does. Tell him he gets paid the same as the rest. Half when he starts and the other half when he gets there.
13 sheep to sell.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I only make it 12. These guys are to make great quartermasters. They see double. All right. In the pen over there. Heaven, stick with that Arab. I'm going to have to buy the same herd more than twice. Here you are, sir.
What's this? 17 men, 8 women.
All wives, Lieutenant.
You sure?
I seen them, sir. They must be.
17 men, 8 women.
I don't get it, sir. Going to war with your wife along. Most men join up to get away from them.
Who is in command here?
I am.
Captain Demetrius, at your service, General.
Lieutenant.
I cannot take orders from Lieutenant. I will call you Colonel.
Thanks for the promotion. This is Lieutenant Tripp. You can call him Admiral.
They tell me you need fighting men. Here we are.
For a price, of course.
Naturally. Only women and boys fight for fun.
Sit down.
How many men do you have, Captain?
16.
What nationality?
Originally Greek. Since then, Egyptian, Tunisian, Arabian, Turkish, and now American.
You know the purpose of this expedition?
Sure, somebody wants to fight somebody else. How much you pay?
$50 gold per man. Half at the start and half when you get there.
Is that what you paid the others?
That's right.
We fight twice as good, so we get 100.
50.
You saw how they ride, now watch how they shoot. Fixate those pros, for the ice!
$50.
$50.
Amazing people, these Americans. They seem to know the value of everything except leisure.
They've been out there in the sun since early morning.
As long as it's their own money they're spending, I have no complaint.
It depends on what they're buying with it.
What do you mean by that?
How do you know that you can trust them?
It's quite simple. They have as much to gain by this as I have.
And more ways of doing it.
What ways?
Well, they know that your brother would like to get his hands on you. Suppose they arrange to turn you over to him. They could get almost anything they wanted from him for that.
A very interesting possibility. Which you should have thought of.
But you said that you trusted General Eaton.
General Eaton will not be alone.
You know, my dear, you should be my prime minister.
As you pointed out before, no one would believe it.
267 all told.
267, huh? Not very many.
Well, perhaps we can pick some up along the way.
We're more likely to lose some. Mr. Tripp.
Yes?
What's this? Musicians and dancing girls.
Well, Hammett put those down as part of his official court.
Well, get rid of them. We're not running a circus.
But you can't. The general agreed to it. He thought it would be a good idea to humor him a little.
Oh, fine. I'll probably have to tie that Greek captain up every night.
To say nothing of a few Marines.
Lieutenant, you better do something quick. We're losing part of our army.
Now what?
It's the Hammett Guards. They say they're not going. Orders from topside.
I think His Highness and I should have a heart-to-heart talk.
Remember, he's our ally.
It's about time he started acting like one.
It's my heart. I've had these attacks before. There's nothing to do for it but rest.
Your guards have bad hearts, too?
They're my personal attendants. Naturally, you can't expect me to stay here unprotected.
I'm afraid you'll have to.
Perhaps we'll be able to join you in Derna after you've taken it.
You can join us if you like, but they're going along.
You misunderstand, Lieutenant. I'm not asking your permission. I'm giving you an order.
Take another look at the treaty you signed.
This is not a military matter. My guards are
Your guards are soldiers. I've got a job to do, and I need every fighting man I can lay my hands on. You can stay here if you like, but no soldier's going to sit out the war taking your pulse. Not if you want your throne back. Now, do we fight it alone and come to terms with your brother? Or do you stick to the treaty?
I'm not used to being addressed in this manner.
My country is not used to people breaking treaties.
Why do we argue about something that may never happen? Who knows? I may even recover enough to go along with you.
You look better already, Your Highness.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Another cup.
Well, thank you. Oh, you're just in time.
Thank you. The officers' mess is having its first guest.
This is really very charming. I had no idea that your country had such civilized customs. May I pour you a cup, Lieutenant?
No, thank you.
The Countess was just telling me that Hammett isn't feeling well.
He's much better now. He was just getting the wrong medicine.
Since when did you become a doctor?
His Highness' illness was not too difficult to diagnose.
Well, I really must be going back.
Why?
I have so much packing to do.
You're not going.
No. Why not?
No unattached women allowed.
But that's absurd.
Look here, you can't classify the Countess as a...
You are unattached, aren't you?
But that rule wasn't made for her.
That rule was made for everyone.
What do you expect me to do? Stay here in an empty village?
Countess? That's none of my business.
It will be.
And no use talking to Hammett again. He and I just had a meeting of the minds.
You think of everything, don't you?
I try to.
See here, O'Bannon, you can't do this to her.
I just did.
But this is different, and you know it. She's no ordinary camp follower.
Just a question of rank. The other women follow the soldiers, she follows the head man.
You're making a big mistake.
That's the way to make them big.
I trust the Countess did not take her disappointment too hard.
The fortunes of war.
What an army.
I don't care what they look like, as long as they can get there and fire a gun when they do.
They'll fire a gun, all right, Lieutenant. Question is, which way?
Let's go.
Counted for, Captain? An outfit like this, you worried about my men?
Scouts out. All set, Sergeant.
Man, sure one big casualty.
Yeah, and it gets a lot bigger, too.
is insanity. Your complexion will be ruined. And then what good will this do you? Who wants to marry one with freckles all over her nose?
My nose can stand it for one day. I don't want him to see me until tonight.
Sir, there's tracks about 2 miles out running parallel to our course.
How many?
Can't tell exactly. There are quite a few.
Take Huggins back with you and let me know if you see anybody.
Aye,
and
sir.
keep your mouth shut. I don't want any scuttlebutt just because somebody's using the same desert. What do you think, Captain?
I think it will be a very interesting trip.
Camp here.
Not much shelter.
We won't be as easy to surprise either.
I never saw an animal with so many bones and all in the same place.
Get me some water, please.
Water won't wash off freckles.
Sir, His Highness's compliments. He requests the pleasure of your company for chow.
Kings have dinner, Sergeant. Not chow.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it'll be worth the heat and dust I've endured to see the American's face when he sees me.
I trust Lieutenant O'Bannon has a sense of humor. If it should not happen to strike him as being
Doesn't
funny...
really matter. I've obeyed his precious rules, so there's nothing he can do about it.
Sit down, gentlemen. You've met the Countess Darno, of course.
What are you doing here?
I'm a member of His Highness Court.
Since when?
You'll find my name on the list under D for dancing girl.
As long as that is my privilege, according to our agreement.
Oh, you'll join us.
With pleasure. Anytime you're ready.
Ready? For what?
You're a dancer. Go ahead, dance. Unless, of course, you can.
I'd be delighted.
Get him started, Bush.
Ah, sir. Get up. M-shoe. Get going. M-shoe. Come on, get up. Get going.
We're ready to start.
Don't let me hold you up.
You won't. As soon as you get back with the dancing girls, where you belong.
But, Your Highness, Oh, I was wondering just how nasty you could be if you set your mind to it.
Now you know. Come on. Here's 2 more for you, Seawalk.
I don't need any more girls.
Need 'em or not, you got 'em.
She's kind of soft, isn't she?
She's stronger than she looks.
Redheads always are. What's your first name?
I'll have you know this is Mademoiselle Lecomte.
I know all about that. You may be a countess up there, but we go by first names here. What is it?
Sheila.
Might as well meet the girls.
Oh, this is an outrage. Let me plead with him.
I wouldn't plead with him for my life.
You can't send her back there with those women. Whatever you think of her, she's a lady.
I know, but they won't mind.
Scouts out! Forward!
Waterhole should be just over the mountains. Through that gap.
It'll take us 5 or 6 days.
At least.
How's the water holding out, Sergeant?
We've got plenty, sir.
Anybody who would ruin a water hole, I'd fight against for nothing.
How far is it to the next one?
I'll check the map.
What difference does it make? Whoever ruined this one will ruin the next one, too. There's nothing we can do but turn back while we can still make it.
I'll let you know what we decide.
According to this, the next water hole's approximately 200 miles west-northwest, if you could go in a straight line. We've got to go 75 miles north to get around these sand dunes.
How long ago do you think this was done?
Yesterday, day before, not longer.
That gives them 2 days start at most. Suppose we went straight across the dunes. How long would it take?
You really want to get there, don't you?
Any reason why we couldn't?
You could try.
How long?
5 days with luck.
Suppose whoever wrecked this water hole went straight across, too. They'd still get there first.
Only Americans will think of crossing the Great Catara.
I'll tell His Highness. We're changing our course. We're going across the dunes.
What?
We're going across.
You may do as you wish, but my people and I are going back.
I'm still giving the orders here.
Nothing in the treaty said we had to commit suicide.
No one's asking you to. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it would work.
It's too much of a gamble. We've got enough water there to return to Minya, and we're going back.
Now we haven't got enough to get back. But we've got enough to go across that sand, and that's where we're going. Get them started, Sergeant.
For that, I call you general.
For that, you better be right. There better be water on the other side.
Everything quiet, sir. And mighty dry.
Yeah. Where do you think you're going?
Have you ever shared a tent with 11 women?
No.
Well, I have.
Nevertheless, no one's allowed to leave camp.
I thought it was understood that I was quite capable of taking care of myself.
Come back here.
So it was you. I might have known.
You're lucky. Those sentries have orders to shoot to kill.
Why didn't you tell me instead of scaring me to death?
Nobody can tell you anything. We better get back before they take a shot at both of us.
I can get up myself. Ow! Now look what you did.
I did?
Of course you did. If you hadn't done...
All right, all right. I'll fix it when I get back. Come on.
It's a little late for chivalry.
Yes. You're a little heavy for it, too.
Let me down.
Stop wiggling. I don't enjoy this any more than you do.
Let me go.
Have it your own way.
Ah! What, you... Lieutenant!
Take it easy.
I'll show you. Ah!
You know, for a countess, you've got quite a temper. I don't think Hamet's going to like that.
If you had any idea how much I loathe you.
I get the general idea.
I wish I were a man for just 5 minutes.
I don't. I like it better this way.
Are you going to let me go, or do I have to scream for help?
I'm afraid you're going to have to scream.
Hello, Colonel. Oh, for interrupting like this, I should be shot, but I have no choice. I don't blame you for not noticing, but a sandstorm's coming up. We ought to break camp fast.
Now?
Unless you want to stay here in the sand forever.
Let's go.
It's going to be tough staying on our course.
You'll have to do the best you can. If we stay here, we'll be buried alive.
O'Bannon, we should dismount and leave the horses.
He looks deserted.
No one around.
Let's report.
Plenty of water and all clear, Lieutenant.
Oh, be careful.
What do you expect after a sandstorm, Silk? I told you we should never have come along.
Oh, you've told me nothing else since we started.
And you should have listened to me. And another thing, stay away from that lieutenant.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I've told you so
I
many
know,
times.
but would His Highness understand?
Understand what?
Just that I won't be able to dine with you tonight.
Why not?
Mr. O'Bannon has forbidden me to leave this area.
Since when is it a military matter where you dine?
You'll have to ask Mr. O'Bannon.
I have to ask no one. Eat my tent tonight for dinner.
But suppose Mr. O'Bannon...
Mr. O'Bannon will be there, too. We shall put him in his place.
I will be looking forward to it.
When did the lieutenant say you couldn't leave here?
When I decided that it would do the most good.
Oh, well.
What's this? Bush brought these men in, Lieutenant. They say they're merchants and that they were robbed by Tripolitan soldiers.
How do you know they were Tripolitans?
We know the uniform of the soldiers.
How many were there?
20, perhaps. We did not stop to count. If you could give us food and shelter.
Take care of them, Sergeant.
May you have a long and prosperous life.
I'll settle for just long.
Tripolitan soldiers.
At least we know they're not strong enough to attack us.
Unless they get reinforcements.
Or we get careless. Tell Derek to double the guard.
How do we do that? Cut each man in half?
Why, Mr. Tripp, you made a joke. Happy to have you aboard, sir.
Maybe someday you'll tell me what's so funny about a war.
Nothing. It's just the people in it.
I must say it's wonderful to feel like a human being again.
You'll feel even better after Lieutenant O'Bannon arrives.
I doubt it.
When you hear what I have to say to him, you will.
You sent for me?
Yes. I wanted to instruct you to remove the Countess Darno's name from its present listing as a dancing girl.
Oh. Is she leaving the caravan?
Quite the contrary. She is to become my wife. I thought it only right that you should be the first to hear the news. inasmuch as you are partly responsible for it.
How's that?
I've long admired the Countess's beauty. But her temperament has always struck me as being a bit,
Headstrong?
Exactly. I can never imagine her taking orders.
I know what you mean.
However, this trip has proved to me that she can. For that, I am grateful to you.
Congratulations on passing the test.
I thought that as long as the caravan would probably rest up here for a couple of days, we might have the ceremony. You would find it very colorful.
Sorry. We're 10 days overdue now. We're breaking camp at dawn.
Well, in that case, I believe it best that we postpone it until we reach Derna. Unless...
Oh, by all means, let us wait until it can be done with the importance Your Highness's wedding deserves.
Very well. In the meantime, I assume you'll agree that the Countess should occupy quarters more appropriate to her new station.
I'm a little short of red carpet, but I'll do the best I can.
A remarkably graceless young man. Oh. Have one, my dear.
No, thank you.
Well, you don't seem very happy about all this.
I deeply appreciate the honor you do me, only...
Only?
I don't like being discussed by you two as if I were a prize cow or something.
No, my dear. I assure you I had no such thought. A prize, yes. A very desirable prize. Now I have a real incentive to reach Derna.
We both do. Only we are not there yet.
Pardon, Your Highness, but I must speak to you on a matter of great importance.
Well?
Alone.
If you will excuse us.
Of course. Your Highness, Excellency.
I thought you said we were going to rest up for a couple of days, Lieutenant.
You heard the orders, Sergeant. We're pulling out at dawn.
Aye, sir. Dawn, sir.
Party over so early?
Due to your orders about leaving in the morning,
Want me to change them?
I wouldn't dream of interfering with your mission.
Yes, it is, my brothers. What message do you bring from him?
He offers you peace and friendship and half the kingdom.
In return for?
Cooperation against our mutual enemy, the Americans.
It was my impression they were my allies, and that my brother was my enemy.
That is a condition he seeks to remedy, to mutual advantage. Why should brother fight brother when there is kingdom enough for both?
If the Americans win, I will get all of it.
That is a gamble. This is not.
What would he have me do?
We are going to wipe out this miserable little band anyway, but our task would be even easier if we knew their plans.
I will think about it.
But, Your Highness...
There is much in what he says. Why risk my life for a whole kingdom when I can get half of one for nothing?
Can your brother be trusted to keep his bargain?
No. But then neither can I.
I can't pin it down, sir, but there's something going on back there.
What do you think it is, Sergeant?
They're all whispering together. When you get close to them, they shut up till you've passed. Makes you feel like you got a target on your back.
Keep the lid on for 3 more days, Sergeant. By that time, we should be there.
I never thought I'd be so anxious to see the Navy again. Meaning no disrespect, sir, of course.
They say there will be ships to help you. Do you know where those ships are? I've seen them sunk with my own eyes. Hassan, I hear that door night like a fortress, with more reinforcements arriving every day. Oh, I'm glad that I'm only a merchant and not a warrior like yourself.
For just a pretty view.
Well, we're 12 days late. Besides, they would stand out during the day. They'll be back tonight.
Just talk they won't.
You're a soldier. You know there's always talk. We'll camp in the flats below and wait.
Not too long, I hope. My men are growing restless.
The next time I see a sailor, I'm going to punch him right in the nose. Meaning no disrespect, sir, of course.
Fine. Shove.
What is that for?
To signal the ships. What do you think?
There are no ships. It'll only signal the enemy. The men want it put out.
Oh, they do they? Well, tell them to go jump in that nice wet ocean. Pile it on, Langley, and make it hot. Say, Lieutenant, them Arabs didn't want me to light no fire. They say the ships ain't coming. They'd better come. And soon, or we're in trouble. You better talk to them. They'll listen to you.
This is a military matter. According to the treaty, I have no authority over such things.
I see.
Fall in, men.
We've had enough of your infidel lies. We will be deceived no longer.
You're not being deceived. The ships will come, as we said.
Tell your men to go back where they belong.
You've lied to us. We take no more orders.
I said tell them to go back.
We take no more orders from you.
Fix bayonets.
Fix bayonets.
That is a foolish order to only 8 men.
Counted yet? The odds are getting shorter.
They're here! They're here! Lieutenant, the ships are here!
Anything else you'd like to say? Tell your men to disperse.
As you were.
Mr. O'Bannon, it is nice to have allies with such a delicate sense of timing.
I was about to say the same thing to your Highness.
Commodore Baron, may I present His Highness Hamid Karamanli, the rightful ruler of Tripoli.
Your Highness.
Well, Mr. O'Bannon, I'd almost given you up.
I was beginning to feel the same way, sir.
Mr. Tripp. Glad to see you, sir.
General Eaton, I'd like you to meet Captain Demetrius. He has been of great help to us, sir.
The United States is grateful, Captain.
Always glad to help a young country get along.
Shall we go below, gentlemen?
At Derna, their largest guns are 9-pounders mounted on the parapet of the fort, defending the sea approach. And there are 2 battalions of soldiers stationed inside the city.
That's quite a formidable defense.
We have 12-pounders aboard the Hornet and the Nautilus, so we outrange them. After we have silenced their cannon, we will move in to provide support for the land troops. As soon as you have accepted the surrender of the city, we will put an occupation force of Marines ashore. Is that clear?
Naturally, we'll have additional personnel for the land attack.
According to this plan of action, you won't need any. After we get through our bombardment, it'll just be a matter of mopping up. Besides, we're not carrying any soldiers.
I was speaking of the Marines, sir.
They are a part of the ship's company. You know that, Mr. O'Madden.
I also know I need people I can count on, and I can count on the Marines.
I am responsible for the safety of my ships. We're in enemy waters. In case of attack, I would need them to repel boarders.
Sir, in all our months of blockade duty, we were never once under attack.
Are you trying to tell me how to run my squadron?
I'm sure there's no such inference intended, Commodore.
I was merely making a tactical suggestion, sir.
If I read the orders correctly, I am in command of naval forces.
And I happen to be in command of the land action.
You will give further opinions when you are called upon, Mr. O'Bannon. Until then, you will observe the amenities of your rank.
Let's go. You're wasting your time arguing with this old fossil.
You will leave this ship at once, sir.
Gladly.
If you were under my command, Captain, you'd be court-martialed.
If I was under your command, I'd be dead. So long, sailor.
They're still going over the details, but that is the general plan of attack.
I could not have thought of a better one myself. I will send a messenger to Derna at once with instructions.
What instructions?
That the guns on the fort be replaced by false ones, and the real guns move to a new location. Then, when the American ships have silenced the false ones and move within range, they will receive a very unpleasant surprise. After the ships are sunk, their little army will be at our mercy. You will be able to see it all from the bluffs overlooking Derna. It should be quite a sight, Your Highness.
It should indeed be quite a sight, if it works.
I think it'll be an interesting spectacle either way.
I think this one would do for the wedding, and perhaps we could pick up some lace and darn it from the neckline. Or maybe this one would be better. Which do you think?
What?
I asked you which of these you wanted to be married in.
Oh, I don't know. I'll decide later.
Later? You think a woman would be more interested in her own wedding gown?
Oh, there's plenty of time.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. I've just got a little headache. I'll get some fresh air.
Stay out of sand dunes.
What you worrying about? When the Navy gets through, the Marines won't have nothing to do but walk in and pick up the chips.
I've heard that before. Unexpected pleasure, Countess.
I was just taking a walk.
Again?
Well, I must be going.
No, wait a minute. Don't go.
I really must.
What I have to say won't take long. It's just that I'm glad everything turned out the way you wanted it. And I wish you happiness.
Thank you.
It did turn out that way, didn't it? Just the way you wanted?
Yes, it turned out just the way I wanted it.
That's that. Ready, Lieutenant.
this is a proper robe in which to be received victoriously by my people?
You seem very certain that the Americans are going to win.
Not at all. In fact, they stand an excellent chance of being defeated.
But I don't understand. You
I
just
said I would win. It's quite a different matter. Here, hold this.
You speak in riddles.
Only to those who do not understand the art of diplomacy.
I'm afraid I don't.
You're not expected to, my dear.
I would be very happy to learn.
It's really quite simple. You merely do what's best for yourself. In this case, two allies are obviously better than one, especially when they oppose each other. There, how does that look?
Oh, excellent.
Thank you.
But how did Khalil manage to arrange such a favorable situation?
Khalil had nothing to do with this. In fact, he did not even know the Americans' plan of attack.
But you did.
Naturally.
And you passed the information along to your brother soldiers.
Naturally.
How very clever of you. But do you think it will do them any good?
They have a plan in mind that's rather ingenious. Come, I'll show you.
Henriette, it's time you were dressing. Shh, get that guard away from Hammond's horse.
Why?
Don't ask silly questions. Do as I ask you. Call him. Tell him Hammond wants it. Anything. But hurry.
But...
Looks quiet.
Ships are on station. There goes the signal.
Navy's doing all right, aren't we, sir?
Yes. Yes, we are. Meaning no disrespect, Sergeant, of course.
warn them it's a trap. Those aren't the real guns they're shooting at.
How do you know?
Hamid told me. They've moved the guns, and when the ships move in, they're going
Where'd
to...
they move the real one?
He didn't know.
Take care of it.
Yes.
Langley! Yes, sir. Signal the ships to remain out. All right. Cease fire.
Will direct fire on correct target from within city. Urgent.
O'Bannon giving me orders again? Do you know what this is all about?
No, Commodore, but he must.
They're still heading in. They'll be in range in a minute.
The Navy overrules this one. I'm gonna...
They're turning.
Y'all move, Colonel.
Sergeant, see if you can get one of those Arabs to give me his clothes.
Suppose I get 2 outfits.
I didn't ask for volunteers.
I know that.
Make it 3. You're both crazy, but so am I.
Make it 3.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. The commanding officer is supposed to stay with his troops. Any special mission you have in mind should be my detail.
I got one for you, too. You're going to be the first naval officer in history to lead a cavalry charge.
Cavalry?
The commandant should see me now.
Your own mother would think you're an Arab.
I hope them Arabs do.
I'll leave a couple of men here to look out for you.
I couldn't persuade you to be one of them, could I?
No. But I'm glad you tried.
I hate to be always doing this, but you're holding up the war.
I'll be back.
Sir, you might need this.
Good luck.
Same to you.
What's follow me in Arabic?
Il est la man. Yell it.
Il est le man! Il est le man! Il est le man!
Fort's near the water.
What's that building over there?
The governor's palace.
Let's take a look.
It isn't exactly open to the public.
We're not the public. There are the guns. Get on them on, boys.
Our fire much longer.
Sir, there's smoke coming from the tower in the center of the city. Must be our signal.
Good. You may commence firing.
But, sir, if Lieutenant O'Bannon is sending the signal.
I know. But Mr. O'Bannon's giving the orders. Direct fire on target.
Aye. Commence firing.
Fire!
Rather a foolish trade you made, my dear. A crown for a few American lives.
And what makes you think that they'll give you your crown back now?
Because I'm still a diplomat. We must hurry and help our gallant American allies.
Hey, wait till they turn around. Don't shoot them in the back.
Why not? It's easier.
Something to tell our grandchildren about, General. First time over foreign soil. You may give the order to close in.
Looks good.
Get going. All right, M-Shoot, get on there.
There's no way for an engaged woman to act.
Depends on who she's engaged to.
Lieutenants don't make as much money as king.
Who wants to be a queen?
Have I the commanding officer's permission to declare the city secure?
You can declare everything secure.
Yes.
Attention!
Sergeant, you may pass the word along. The city is secured.
Aye, aye, sir. Signal the Navy, the city is secured. Aye, aye, Sergeant.